What is going on, cadets? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking week 7 starts, sits, and sleepers. I'm going to give you my 3 best choices for week 7. Johnny is not with us. He is on a business trip. Blake is busy with some schoolwork, so I am solo dolo today, but I am going to lead you to the promised land. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. So first things first, guys, this is going to be a shorter video. That is just me, and I'm going to be doing my starts, sits, and sleepers. But I will be posting Johnny and Blake's sleepers. FYI, Blake has been hitting on his sleepers at an astronomical rate. So just keep in mind, he's not going to be here explaining why he had his sleeper and why he picked his sleeper. But he has been hitting at a really good rate. He had Tyler Boyd last week, and that actually ended up paying off good if you followed his advice. So just something to think about. Now, keep in mind when we're talking about starts of the week, we're talking about borderline guys that could be on your bench, could possibly be on waivers. So without further ado, my start of the week is going to be Jerome Ford. Now, I know he's been losing some touches to Kareem Hunt, and Kareem Hunt has been doing pretty good for fantasy the last 2 weeks. But Jerome Ford still had 19 touches last week, and he's still a heavy part of this Browns offense. Now, with that being said, I still think Jerome Ford is a better real-life player than he has been fantasy-wise. A lot of real-life things that he does well doesn't translate to fantasy production. However, I think that it's all about to change this week when the Browns take on Indy. This is probably one of the worst run defense teams in the league. And Jerome Ford, if he can get at least 18 touches in this game, I like him to find the end zone. So I think he's a really good, solid flex play this week, and I would definitely fire him up. And who I will be sitting this week will be Jordan Addison. Now, look, I know he's taken over for Justin Jefferson as the wide receiver 1 in this offense, but they are going against that fearless 49ers defense. I expect a ton of pressure in Kirk Cousins' face. I wouldn't be surprised if the Minnesota Vikings fall flat on their backs and end up scoring 10 points in this one. This offense can entirely implode this week. I understand, Addison has looked sharp in the few weeks that he has started in his rookie debut, but I'm going to keep him on my bench this week. This is a 49ers defense giving up the 10th least points in fantasy football to the wide receiver position. So I think he's a little more risky than people want to admit. I'm going to keep him on the bench for the stout 49ers defense this week. And my sleeper for week 7 is going to be Zach Evans. Now, listen, there's a giant range of outcomes for Zach Evans this week. There was a lot of moves that the Rams made in this backfield. Royce Freeman, signing Darrell Henderson back. But Zach Evans should be the starter, and he should get the nod early and often. Now, with that being said, there's a huge risk here. This guy can totally boom, and he can totally bust. Is a wide range of outcomes. Some people that are analysts are going to tell you, lock him in. He's going to be a lock this week. Listen, there's a better chance that he busts than he booms this week. It's a very risky play, but with bye weeks and injuries and everything, starting to pile in, there are people that are going to be starting Zach Evans out there. He carries a ton of upside. This is a guy that, I don't know if you guys play any dynasty leagues, but this is a guy that was probably one of my favorite running backs coming out of the draft, and he ended up slipping to the 6th round, and that kind of ruined that for me because there was no draft capital, and he was buried on a depth chart of the Rams. So maybe he wasn't as special as NFL teams thought, but I always thought he had special talent when I looked at his film. This guy can definitely boom this week. Fire him up if you're in a desperate spot, but there does come risk reward with him. So before we sign off, I'm going to give you Blake and Johnny's starts, sits, and sleepers right here. Do us a favor. If you like fantasy content, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you in the next video.